Part 74. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 743. Could it be said that he has comprehended all the 9 great methods and reached the golden immortal realm? Zhang Xiaoyang said in shock. It is important to know that almost all practitioners can specialize in one and reach the golden immortal realm. Only those disciples with extremely outstanding talents, unique understanding, and the support of the gate behind them can occasionally practice 2 methods at the same time. It is rare to find 3 types of practitioners, and it is almost unheard of to have more than 4 types. As for the 9 kinds, where did this monster come from? After calming down a little, Li Wuji shook his head. Perhaps he has not realized the golden immortal, but he only has the notes of predecessors who have become golden immortals, so he can tell it. If you just follow the script, it is indeed very possible, Zhu Hezai nodded, and you must have discovered that although the sermon just mentioned involved the golden immortal principles of the 9 Dharma doors, it was only a superficial taste and was not profound. Obviously it is not, he understood it himself. Phew. It really scared me. Zhang Xiaoyang breathed a sigh of relief. But fellow Taoist Su is really broad-minded and willing to share such profound principles with everyone, Zhu Hezai said. Looking at the disciples of the 3 sects below who fell into enlightenment, Zhang Xiaoyang nodded. If it were them preaching, the ones above the immortals would definitely only have a superficial taste, and they would not be able to explain all the truths that their predecessors had finally understood. Just as Li Wuji was about to speak, he stopped again. The 3 of them looked at each other and looked down. On a huge rock halfway up a mountain next to Huanglong Mountain, a middle-aged man wearing a 5-colored Taoist robe and a serious expression was sitting cross-legged. At this time, his eyes were slightly closed, his breath was long, 6 feet of Qingyun hovered above his head, and a round 5-colored Dao fruit was held on the 12-grade green lotus. Obviously, this person is a true immortal who practices the 5 elements and is close to the state of perfection. Suddenly, a trace of black energy emerged from the void. It exudes a strong aura of calamity. Whenever this kind of aura appears around a monk, it is a prelude to a catastrophe. However, just when the calamity aura became stronger, a ray of light flew from above. The aura on the Taoist's body disappeared instantly, and the calamity aura also dissipated. The Taoist slowly opened his eyes, felt something strange next to him, and quickly bowed and saluted. "Thank you for your help, Senior." Su Junming's voice rang in his ears. "I will teach you a set of techniques. When you are ready to overcome the tribulation, the seal will be released." "Thank you, Senior." Although there are not many people like him who are full of magic power but not enough realm, but they make up for their shortcomings by listening to the sermon. But among the nearly 20 million monks, there are quite a few. Su Junming sealed part of their magic powers one by one and gave them a way to unblock them. Otherwise, if they are allowed to survive the tribulation, the monks within thousands of miles around will suffer. Time passed little by little. When 12 o'clock passed at noon on the 82nd day, the loud bell rang. All the listeners woke up. Subconsciously looking at the huge figure in mid-air, there was more gratitude and respect in the eyes of the people than at the beginning, who felt that they had made progress while listening to the sermon. End of sermon on the 81st. "Thank you, true Lord, for the gift." The crowd shouted loudly. Feeling the sincerity in everyone's words, Su Junming nodded slightly. That day at Qingyang Mountain, Pandao once said that after the sermon, he would set up a 2-layer formation. "Those who can pass it can enter my section." Most of the casual cultivators became excited. The reason why they came all the way is to join the Chongshan sect and be protected by the Golden Immortal Patriarch, so that they will no longer be oppressed by the disciples of those sects. With a wave of his sleeves, a black divine light turned into a huge black staircase. This black staircase is 2,000 feet long and 1,000 feet wide, with a total of 999 steps. At the end of the steps is a huge platform. Anyone who can cross the steps and climb to the platform can be my disciple. The black stairs shed a divine light, and countless casual cultivators felt a powerful pinching force covering their bodies. They were not allowed to resist at all. He stepped lightly, and when he reappeared, he was already on top of the steps. There are nearly 20 million monks heard today, more than half of whom are casual practitioners. But after these tens of millions of casual cultivators landed on the steps that were only 1,000 feet long, their bodies seemed to be compressed, only 1/10 the size, and they did not appear crowded at all. Lin Lingsu's pupils shrank slightly, with a look of shock on her face. What a mysterious Hushin Dao immortal weapon. It's not just a fairy weapon. Please feel it carefully. Lin Lingsu's heart moved. His senior brother had a higher level of cultivation than him. In addition to his major in Thunder Dao, he also dabbled in Hushin Dao. He stared closely at the steps, and gradually a little bit of the innate Tao charm was reflected in the sea of consciousness. Innate spiritual treasure. Looking at his disbelieving junior brother, Wang Wenqing looked solemn. It is conceivable that the Taoist method that Su Junming is best at is not the five elements Tao and the wind and thunder Tao, but the Hushin Tao. The Tao contained in the innate spiritual treasure is the best teacher. With an innate spiritual treasure of the Hushin Dao, the most obscure among all the Dao, is not as difficult as imagined. No wonder he was willing to give us the thunder chisel, Lin Lingsu said. Junior brother. Lin Lingsu turned her head. This person is very powerful. Don't provoke him unless necessary. Senior brother, don't worry. We have obtained the Sky Thunder Chisel, and we no longer have any conflicts with him. Not only Lin Lingsu and Wang Wenqing, but also Li Wuji, Zhang Xiaoyang, and Zhu Hezai, who were gathered not far away, also discovered the reality of the stairs. The three people looked a little ugly, especially Zhang Xiaoyang. Su Junming, who was already extraordinary in strength, added an innate spiritual treasure, and it was also an extremely mysterious Hushin Dao spiritual treasure. It is conceivable that Chongshan Academy must be the leader of the Taoist sect of Tianqi Tao, a strong competitor second only to Shenxiao Tao. And its potential is even greater than Shenxiao Dao. As for Li Wuji and Zhu Hezai, it is enough to worry about having Tianqi Dao and Shenxiao Dao on their heads, and now there is Chongshan Academy. Just thinking about it makes me not very happy. No matter what the five people's mood is, this test is still going on. Ever since everyone climbed up the stairs, people kept getting ejected. Because there were many ordinary people who came here to admire the immortal fate, and even monks who established the foundation and the innate realm, every person who was eliminated was sent out of Huanglong Mountain with spiritual power. When they woke up after landing, they all looked regretful. They knew they were eliminated. After about a day, the test ended. Only 200,000 people climbed to the final platform. Selecting 200,000 from 20 million is a 1 in 100 to 1 ratio. Seeing that many people who became immortals were eliminated, everyone speculated that the other party's criteria for selecting disciples were not simply based on cultivation, but more on character. That's right. 99 and 81 illusions are set up on the transformed steps of the human soul divine gate. As long as you have above average qualifications and understanding, a kind heart, and good perseverance, you can stay. Cultivation is not important. With the foundation of Chongshan Academy, as long as you have good qualifications and practice hard enough, becoming an immortal is not an extravagant hope. Looking at the fiery eyes, Su Junming nodded slightly. You will be my disciple of Chongshan Academy from now on. See the patriarch. Those who stayed behind shouted excitedly. After nodding slightly. In our Chongshan lineage, there is a difference between direct descendants and names. Although those who bear names are my disciples of Chongshan and accept my sect rules, they are not the heirs of my mantle. Those who are direct descendants join my sect, accept my mantle, and share will and woe. But they are poor. The Tao is very strict in accepting disciples, and those who do not have excellent xingxing, deep roots, and superior qualifications will not be accepted. Do you want to give it a try? You still want to ask the patriarch to test you? All fools know that direct disciples will definitely receive much more attention and teachings than registered disciples. The opportunity is present, so naturally everyone wants to try it. Su Junming nodded and waved his sleeves. A 3-foot-long stone platform with a vast green light and a very simple appearance appeared next to him. If you can pass the test, you will come to the stone platform. With a thought in his heart, black brilliance enveloped the stone platform, and everyone's expressions instantly became sluggish, apparently falling into an illusion. Looking around at the monks from various sects, Su Junming said loudly, "Dear Taoist friends, today's sermon at Huanglong Mountain has been completed. Everyone, please go back. I have important things to do, so I will send you off not far away." As soon as he finished speaking, the 1,000-foot-tall giant body disappeared instantly. Also disappearing were the 200,000 new disciples of Chongshan who remained on the altar. Seeing this scene, those who failed the test shook their heads regretfully, turned around and drove away with the light. "Everyone, let's go too," Li Wuji said after taking a deep look at the main peak of Huanglong Mountain, which was not a towering one. Zhang Xiaoyang nodded. "I thought people from Jin and Liao came back to interfere, but I never thought about it and never met them from beginning to end. They didn't go to Qingyang Mountain either." Zhu Hezai frowned. "This is not like their style." "Did something big happen to Jin and Liao that hindered their efforts?" Zhang Xiaoyang asked doubtfully. Zhu Hezai shook his head. "I don't know. Compared with the Jin and Liao countries, I'm more curious about why the people from the Wu clan in southern Xinjiang didn't come." "Doesn't Si Zhan not want the witch god's battle axe?" Li Wuji said. "It's a pity that I'm not proficient in deduction, otherwise I would be able to find some clues by then." After a pause, Zhu Hezai flew out of the cabin. "Two fellow Taoists, Zhu has to rush back to Kongtong to sit in charge, so he will take his leave first. Fellow Taoist Zhu, walk slowly." After Zhu Hezai left, Li Wuji didn't want to stay any longer. After a brief chat, he also said goodbye and left. After Zhang Xiaoyang took one last look at the vibrant Huanglong Mountain, he urged the spirit boat to leave. Within a few hours, most of the monks who had gathered around Huanglong Mountain left. There were some left. Seeing the beautiful scenery of Huanglong Mountain and the stronger aura than the surroundings, they planned to set up the dojo here. With Chongshan Academy at your back, you can be safer. Most of the 200,000 people could not meet the requirements of direct disciples. From the beginning of the test, people have been eliminated. The eliminated people woke up and saw that the surrounding environment was no longer Huanglong Mountain, but they did not dare to say anything more and sat there quietly. As time passed, more and more people were eliminated, but no one could appear on that enviable blue stone platform. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 744. Suddenly, a bright green light flashed by. On the ancient stone platform, two figures actually appeared at the same time. One is an old man wearing a green Taoist robe, with a thin face and a strong spirit. The other is a dignified middle-aged man wearing a 5-color Taoist robe. The latter was also the one who wanted to overcome the tribulation, but was temporarily sealed by Su Junming. Seeing each other, both sides showed surprise in their eyes. However, he noticed that Su Junming was sitting next to him, and the atmosphere was solemn, so he did not speak rashly. "Whose last names are you two? My Taoist friend is better than me in cultivation, so please invite me first," the middle-aged man said. The old man shook his head. "The elders come first. My Taoist friends have been practicing Taoism for longer than me. It's better for you to do it. It seems like you know each other." Su Junming smiled. "Teacher, we both come from the lower realm of Shu Mountain. Although we have never met, we have heard about each other. Oh. I have also stayed in the lower realm of Shusan for 100 years. It seems that I am somewhat of a fellow countryman with you. The two looked surprised. Senior, have you also been to the lower realm of Shusan Mountain? Su Junming smiled, nodded, and waved his hand. We'll talk about my business later. You two should introduce yourself first. This time the middle-aged man did not refuse. After saluting. Disciple Li Shaojing, Taoist name is Hesha, see teacher. Su Junming was shocked. Are you the Taoist master Hesha from the Snake King Temple in Kangmang Mountain in the southern border of Shusan Mountain? Exactly. Looking at the majestic Taoist in front of him, Su Junming never expected that he would meet the famous Taoist master Hesha in Shusan here. In a flash of light, the Dragon Emperor appeared beside him. Taoist master Hesha and the old Taoist felt the vast sea of magic in each other, and instantly understood that this young man who looked only 11 or 12 years old and had an indifferent expression was also a Taoist golden immortal. This is your third master uncle, Tai 5 Virtues true monarch Dragon Emperor. The two of them were shocked. Apart from disbelief, they were even more joyful. In the entire cultivation world, there are two sects suppressed by the golden immortal. Apart from Tianqi Dao and Shenxiao Dao, and the Kongming Mountain far away overseas, there is no one else. These three sects are highly respected in the spiritual world, and their influence is not limited to the Song dynasty. Even the Jin, Liao, Nanzao, and Zixia sects are treated with courtesy. Unexpectedly, the sect from which he had just become a disciple would become one of them. This was an unexpected surprise. Are you willing to accept me as your master? The Dragon Emperor said directly. This Taoist priest Hesha hesitated for a moment. The person he wanted to become a disciple of was Su Junming. Although this third uncle was also a golden immortal, there was really little understanding between the two parties. Do you want to accept him as your direct descendant? Su Junming said in a message. The Dragon Emperor knew why he asked this. Generally speaking, the second generation of Kongshan's direct disciples had only one direct disciple of a kind of path. Since the five elements Tao has such Wolong, it will not accept anyone else. This is the cause and effect I owe him, the Dragon Emperor said. Su Junming nodded. At the beginning, if it were not for the Hesha Kisha written by Taoist master Hesha and the five elements true chi of successor heaven on it, they still don't know how long it would have taken them to comprehend the Five Elements Sutra. Moreover, during the 200 years that the Dragon Emperor stayed in Shusan, most of them stayed at the Snake King Temple, which was also a major cause and effect. Your third uncle is a master of the Five Elements Taoism. He is your good teacher. With his guidance, you can go further in the Five Elements Taoism. The Dragon Emperor's heart moved, and the five-color divine light flew out from the back of his head, and the rich charm of the five elements spread out. As soon as Taoist master Hesha's mind touched, he felt that his understanding of the five elements had become somewhat more advanced. There was no more doubt at that moment, so he bent his knees and prostrate immediately. Disciple Li Shaojing, pay homage to my mentor. The Dragon Emperor nodded slightly. You will be my second disciple from now on. There is a senior brother above you, named Zuch Wolong, Taoist name is Wiogenren. Yes. The Dragon Emperor spread his left hand, and an earthy yellow gourd emerged and slowly flew in front of Taoist Hesha. This treasure is called Wutu gourd. It is a natural immortal weapon of the 12 immortals. I will give it to you for self-defense today. Master, this treasure is too precious, and I cannot accept it. The top-grade immortal weapon of the 12 immortal forbidden realm is the treasure of all major sects and forces. Unless the golden immortal or the top mysterious immortal, who can have such a treasure in their hands. Your master, the master, is an weapon refiner and can refine the best immortal weapons. The second generation disciple of our sect basically has two of them, so you don't have to refuse. Taoist Master Hesha and the old Taoist next to him both looked shocked. Can you refine the best immortal weapons? That was a state that the legendary founder of the Kongtong sect, Guangqinzi, had only reached. You guys, for the sake of your apprentice, you are really embarrassed. Su Junming laughed and scolded. The Dragon Emperor said calmly, I only have 2 disciples, so of course I have to plan for them. It's rare for you to open your mouth, so I can't be stingy. After thinking for a while, he slapped the gourd on his waist, and a stream of 4-color light flew out. Soon, a piece of red, black, green, and yellow appeared in mid-air, with an embossed pattern of green dragon, white tiger, red bird, and Suan Wuo, with a diameter of nearly 2-foot circle. The name of this treasure is the 4-elephant ring. It is also a top-quality fairy weapon that is not inferior to the Wu-Tu gourd. I will give you one today. Don't worry, just accept it with peace of mind. My disciples of Chongshan sect are never short of magic weapons, the Dragon Emperor said. Looking at her new master and the smiling uncle next to her, Li Shaojing took a deep breath, kowtowed 3 times respectfully, and then took the 2 magic weapons. I would like to thank my mentor and uncle for the treasure. I will definitely practice well in the future to repay my mentor's great kindness. Get up, Dragon Emperor nodded. By the way, when I was in the lower realm of Shushan Mountain, I also heard about your reputation as the 3 immortals of West Kunlun. Why are you the only one left now? When my senior brother Ling Kongzi overcame the tribulation and became a true immortal, he accidentally fell into a trap and died. My junior brother Iron Drum Immortal Zhou Meng was promoted to the rank of Bingja. Now he is serving as an immortal official in the Royal Horse Prison of the Yellow Emperor's Immortal Court. He is not allowed to be free. My 3 senior brothers were good friends. Because they admired the immortal way, they left home to travel. They met an immortal in West Kunlun, and obtained a 5 Elements Sutra of the Heaven and the Past. They practiced and became immortals, and called themselves senior brothers. There is no teacher. I see. Su Junming nodded, I will compile a book in a few days. You can take it to the Yellow Emperor's immortal court in person and bring your junior brother back. Li Shaojing's face was filled with joy. One of the important reasons why he planned to join Chongshan Academy was to save his junior brother from suffering and no longer be at the mercy of others. Thank you, Master. He smiled and nodded, then turned his eyes. The old man understood instantly and immediately reported himself to his family. Disciple Zhang Junbeo, Taoist name is Sanfan, I have met the teacher. Su Junming was shocked and blurted out. Are you Zhang Sanfan? The founder of Wudaing sect. Exactly, the disciple. Looking at the old man with the flowing air in front of him, Su Junming calmed down and said, this is strange. Since you are also the founder of the sect, why do you come to worship me as a disciple of Chongshan? Back in the lower world, my disciple accidentally obtained a Suan Huo Sutra left by Master Huolong and entered the Taoism. Unfortunately, this sutra only had 2 chapters, Heavenly Immortal and True Immortal. The disciple was dull. Over the years, he only understood half of the Suan Huo Sutra, and he was able to practice Suan Huo. Immortal, but the subsequent techniques are really weak due to lack of reference. I listened to the teacher's lectures a few days ago and I was quite enlightened. I also deeply felt the teacher's broad mind in preaching to the world, so I decided to become my teacher. As for the Wudaing sect, if they are willing, after passing the test, they should enter our Chongshan Academy. If they are not willing, they will remain as the Wudaing section. Su Junming nodded slightly. Zhang Sanfan is indeed Zhang Sanfan. This is the first time in so many years that he has encountered someone who can comprehend higher level techniques and achieve breakthroughs on his own. This shows his strong understanding. When I was in Shushan world, I didn't hear much about your deeds, but you ascended to Shushan world from another world. After thinking for a moment, Su Junming asked. Zhang Sanfan's heart trembled, and then he nodded. This disciple comes from a world called China. Really? Su Junming thought. When he was in the Shushan world, he discovered that Zhang Sanfen was an accomplished outsider as soon as he appeared. He founded the Wudang sect and rose to prominence within 200 years. This experience is so similar to his. If you judge others by yourself, you will inevitably have a lot of guesses. And he also wants to know, is Zhang Sanfen who founded the Wudang sect in Uncle Ju's world the same Zhang Sanfen? In your Chinese world, does the practice world have Liguan Taoism, North and South Mission, Longhu Mountain and other Taoist sects? Is the teacher also? Zhang Sanfen asked in disbelief. Su Junming nodded. Yes, I am a disciple of the mission southern section. Later, I became successful in practice. I felt that the purpose of the mission sect was not suitable for me, so I founded Chongshan Academy. After a pause. How did you come to Shushan world? The disciples have ascended. Ascension. Exactly. As far as the disciples know, monks who ascend from the Chinese world will basically go to the Shushan world, or directly to the Lingkong immortal world. I see, no wonder everything in the Shushan world is so similar to the Chinese world, Su Junming thought to himself. No. Hasn't it been difficult for the Chinese world to ascend since the two Song dynasties? This was the case for his disciple Chen Lin. Because he could not ascend, his cultivation level that was once at the peak of Yuanying was forced to survive the catastrophe, but he ended up in a miserable situation where only his soul remained in the world. Later, he was reincarnated and became the patriarch of Taiyuanyuan. If Master said, ascending in the daytime, after the Sui and Tang dynasties, it would no longer be possible for heaven and earth to end the Dharma. However, the thousand-year-old sects such as Liguan Taoism, Longhu Mountain and Mission all have teleportation arrays connecting this world. Disciples have I studied a little bit in Liguan Dao, and luckily got some of the essence, so I came to the world of Shushan through this formation. Su Junming suddenly realized. The teleportation array he saw in Kunlun was connected to Chixian Shenzhou. If he hadn't been directly interrupted by Lord Huosang, he wouldn't have had to go to Liuzai world. It's a pity that non-nascent soul cultivators cannot withstand the tearing force of the transmission array, otherwise. He shook his head with a dark expression. Obviously, it is a pity for those fellow practitioners in the Chinese cultivation world who are trapped in spiritual energy, unable to improve their cultivation, and can only die of old age. Of course there are also his disciples among them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 745. Su Junming, who has experienced the teleportation array, knows this very well. At that time, although his magic power was only at the peak of the golden elixir, his physical cultivation was stronger than many nascent souls. Only then did he successfully open the teleportation array and find a way forward for himself. After solving several puzzles that were pressing deep in his heart, Su Junming was no longer willing to pursue the past. Are you willing to become your teacher? Zhang Sanfen paid homage. Disciple is willing. In this case, I will accept you as my 9th disciple. The 8 senior brothers and sisters above you, as well as several fellow disciples, will be introduced later. Yes. I observe that your fire technique and formation path are both practiced at the same time. Will this be the case in the future? This has been the case since the day the disciple entered the Tao, and he will also practice the same way in the future. Su Junming nodded. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, 2 streaks of light flew out. One of them turned into a blazing flame, with the crimson triangular flag of Suzaku on it. The other one turned into a square stone slab. There were 365 etched inscriptions on the stone slab, with a flash of spiritual light and extraordinary momentum. This vermilion bird spirit flag and the Zhou Tian star formation are given to you as treasures to protect yourself. The Jotien star formation was nothing more than the Wu-Tu gourd and the 4 elephant rings, so he was not prepared to refuse. But the vermilion bird spirit flag is different. Master, is this an innate spiritual treasure? Even with Zhang Sanfan's state of mind after practicing for thousands of years, he would inevitably become excited. This is an innate spiritual treasure, a top treasure that even the golden immortals in the cultivation world may not possess. Half of the wars that broke out in the spiritual world were about fighting for innate spiritual treasures or innate spiritual roots. He never imagined that an innate spiritual treasure that could attract the entire cultivation world to compete for would be placed in front of him so easily. Su Junming nodded. The name of this treasure is the Suzaku Spirit Flag. It is a fire-attributed innate spiritual treasure with 12 innate spiritual prohibitions. Zhang Sanfan took a deep breath. This treasure is too precious, please take it back, Master. It's good to be able to restrain greed in the face of heavy treasures. However, I have better innate spiritual treasures as a teacher. Putting this vermilion bird spirit flag here with me is just to fill in a collection. Rather than that, it's better to make the best use of everything. Zhang Sanfan still hesitated. It doesn't matter, being a teacher will open your eyes. Something moved in my heart. The original hanging painting with the word Dao behind him quickly disappeared. The space expanded rapidly, and then turned into a dark and dim space. In an instant, a bright yellow 12-story pagoda, carrying the power of a world-shattering god, suddenly crashed into the space. The mighty light spread out, dyeing the whole world golden. Immediately afterwards, a Bagua bronze furnace covered with lotus flowers, entwined with 3 color flames, fell from the sky with an astonishing momentum. Although there was no sound, Zhang Sanfan felt the powerful and domineering momentum, as if a furnace fell and the world was shattered. Before he could recover, a vast milky white aura surged in like a sea wave. In the endless spiritual light, a milky white porcelain basin with irregular edges came into view. The moment he saw it, Zhang Sanfan felt a strong divine power of creation that he had never seen before. Boom! Accompanied by a thunderous noise, a black and white millstone flew over, and the rich yin and yang spiritual light spread out. The powerful grinding power made people shudder. Shua! A flash of green light flashed past, and a large space turned into nothingness. In this endless void, a giant bronze mirror reveals its figure. Around this ancient mirror, there are countless small spaces that come and go, and the obscure spatial meaning has never been clearer. Looking at Zhang Sanfan and Li Xiaojing with shocked faces. On top of the low-grade innate spiritual treasures is the middle-grade innate spiritual treasures, whose power is 1,000 times that of the low-grade innate spiritual treasures. What you see now are the 5 middle-grade innate spiritual treasures owned by our section. Among them, the Tiangong Divine Furnace and the Creation Spirit Pond belong to me, and the Yin-Yang Great Mill is the natal spiritual treasure of your second uncle. The Divine Mirror of the Void is the protective spiritual treasure of your third uncle, Master. The Emperor's Tower is your fourth uncle's natal spiritual treasure. So, a low-grade innate spiritual treasure may be valuable to others, but within our Chongshan Academy, it is not that precious. You can just accept it? Zhang Sanfan took a deep breath, and the meditation skills he had practiced for thousands of years seemed to have lost their effect at this moment. He originally thought that he was joining a new sect with extraordinary potential, but he never thought that lurking under the water was a giant beast that could sweep across the entire Song Dynasty cultivation world. There are so many innate spiritual treasures that others regard as life here that they are used to reward disciples. Disciple, many thanks to my mentor for giving me this treasure. To refuse once is to be humble, but to refuse again at this time is to be disrespectful. Su Junming smiled and nodded, then looked at Li Xiaojing's envious look next to him. Innate spiritual treasures contain Tao principles. Only innate spiritual treasures that match the Taoism you practice can exert their greatest value. Otherwise, they are no different from a top-quality fairy weapon. Li Xiaojing knew that he was talking to himself. Disciple, thank you for your teachings. Children can be taught. Innate spiritual treasures are rare. I will not waste resources to refine two low-grade innate spiritual treasures with 5 elements attributes. Therefore, it is up to you to balance such Wolong and Li Xiaojing, Su Junming said in a message. I know it well. Dragon Emperor said. With a wave of his left hand, several streams of light entered Li Xiaojing and Zhang Sanfan's bodies. At the same time, a bamboo stick, a hill, and a red gourd flew to the two of them. Inside your danchan are the projections of the bronze mirror and the Sankei divine gate, the treasures of my Chongshan Academy. Each has its own magical function, so you must understand it carefully. The sapphire staff, portable cave, and storage gourd are standard equipment for my direct disciples of Chongshan, and they are also given to you today. Thank you, Master, Uncle Master, for the treasure. With a flick of his fingers, several rays of light entered the sea of consciousness between the two of them. This is a technique directly passed down from my Chongshan Academy. You should go to the side to review and comprehend it. Disciple, obey. Of course, Zhang Sanfan and Taoist Master Heshe were not the only ones among the 200,000 people who could pass the test. Moreover, the Zhongqian world has a strong aura, and the talents it has produced are far beyond what the small thousand world can match. However, the 365 environmental tests set by Su Junming were too abnormal. In the end, only 39 people could pass the test and stand on the stone platform. Based on the initial selection of nearly 20 million people, there was only one person out of almost 500,000 people. And this was selected from among the monks. You must know that not everyone has the qualifications to practice, plus the right opportunity. Only 1 in 1 or 2,000 people has the opportunity to practice. Calculate it this way. It means choosing 1 out of 50 million, or even choosing 1 out of 100 million. This shows how strict this standard is. However, among the 39 people, except for Zhang Sanfan and Taoist Master Heshe who have already become disciples, there are only 2 true immortals and 9 heavenly immortals, and the rest are Yuan Shen and Yuanying. The one with the lowest cultivation level is just innate. Come forward. Wearing coarse cloth, with a big bow on his back and an iron spear in his hand, he was dressed as a hunter and looked to be only 14 or 15 years old but 9 feet tall. He took a deep breath and under the attention of everyone, he stepped to the front. Disciple Gao Chong pays homage to the teacher. No need to be polite, just get up. Thank you, teacher. I see you are dressed as a hunter, why do you come here to listen to sermons in the mountains? Teacher, my disciple was originally a hunter near Huanglong Mountain, and he often came here to hunt. Later, he saw countless spiritual masters gathering here, so he became curious and wanted to see what was going on. This is how he got the fate of immortality. How did you get this skill? The disciple's father was an old soldier in the Song dynasty's border army. Later, he injured his hand in a battle with the Liao people, and then he was released from military service and returned home. The disciple followed him and learned a set of military spearmanship called Pajun gun. With just this set of army-breaking guns, you have become a genius. Exactly. He is really talented. After smiling and nodding, Su Junming turned around. Since these 39 people have passed the test, they are all direct disciples of my Chongshan Academy. How many inheritance mantles are you two willing to accept? This disciple is devoted to cultivating Taoism and has no intention of accepting disciples. Please forgive me, Master Heshe. Taoist Master Li Xiaojing said. It's true to devote oneself to cultivating Taoism, but teaching disciples is a process of reviewing the past and learning the new. Moreover, although our Chongshan Academy is a Taoist sect, it does not advocate residing from the world, but to practice Taoism in the world. Becoming an immortal and becoming an ancestor is not what we want. To preach and gain karma, to slay demons, to maintain peace in the world, and to explore the limits of spiritual practice is the lifelong pursuit of my Chongshan disciples. A gaze full of majesty swept over everyone. If one day you only know how to practice and lose your humanity, that's when you will be expelled from the sect by Chongshan Academy. Everyone was shocked and said quickly. Disciples must keep this in mind. However, among the 39 people, there was not one who was a fellow practitioner of the Five Elements path. Taoist Master Heshe chose a short and stocky boy who practiced earthly Taoism and had only Jin Dan as his disciple. The boat is small enough to turn around. It's too late to abolish the golden core cultivation and start from scratch. When it was Zhang Sanfan's turn, he picked out all the 39 people who practiced the Taoism of fire. Flame Taoism is the most widely spread Taoism in the cultivation world, and it has the largest number of people practicing it among casual cultivators. A total of 7 people entered his door. Looking at the remaining 31 people, Su Junming thought about it and thought that he had established a firm foothold in Qi County, China. It's time to bring them all up too. Compared with the Shushan world, the concentration of spiritual energy in Chixi and Shenzhou is dozens of times higher. The progress of cultivation here is of course far beyond that of the lower world. Just as he was about to take action, he stopped. You take them down, and then bring up the disciples who have become immortals from the lower realm of Shushan Mountain. Then arrange for them to be apprentices according to their respective cultivation levels and the techniques they have practiced. Those who have become immortals can be the 3rd generation disciples, and those who have not become immortals can be the 4th generation. By the way, let this little guy be taught by Zhong. He is a good young man who can practice martial arts. The Dragon Emperor glanced at Gao Chong and nodded. After everyone leaves? Xiang carve these 9 exercises on the cliff for me, and then climb there for 3 days. Disciple, obey. Yu Xiang took the order and came out. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 746. Chapter 727, Chongshan 9 True Scriptures, Si Zhan visits Huanglong. Before I knew it, 7 days had passed since I preached at Huanglongshan. But the sensation caused by the sermon had just begun. In particular, the 9 immortal arts passed down by Su Junming are spread all over the world. Someone with good intentions compiled these 9 exercises and called them the 9 True Scriptures of Chongshan. 99% of the casual cultivators in the world, as well as some lower-level immortal sects whose direct transmission techniques are not very good, have unanimously turned their own practice techniques into one of the 9 True Scriptures of Chongshan. For a time, it became a widely circulated reality that people all over the world could practice cultivation outside Chongshan. Su Junming, the true lord of Chongshan, is even called teacher by countless people. Huanglong Mountain, the original place of sermons, has also been revered as a holy mountain by countless casual cultivators and has become a holy place for spiritual practice. Su Junming, the founder of the figurines, also had great luck. Looking at the 9 true scriptures of Chongshan carved on the cliff, and the hundreds of cultivators sitting cross-legged and meditating around it, a strong man in black robe whispered, "It will win people's hearts." As soon as he finished speaking, his heart moved and he turned his head suddenly. A young man wearing a green robe, tall and with a face like a jade, suddenly appeared behind him. It was Yu Xiang who was sent here by Su Junming. He has been waiting here for 3 days as ordered by his ancestor. Seeing the person coming, I finally understood why the patriarch asked him to wait here. Bowed. Senior, Master has invited me. The strong man's eyes flashed, lead the way. After Yu Xiang nodded, he took the people with him and climbed all the way to the main peak of Huanglong Mountain, Lanyu Peak, and entered Chongshan residence from the archway. Come to the hall. Master, we have been brought here. You go down. Yes. After Yu Xiang left, looking at the man in black robe, Su Junming smiled. Now that we are here and there are no outsiders, there is no need for fellow Taoist Si to continue covering up, right? The man in black robe lifted his hood, revealing a broad face with rough bones, and a fierce and wild look in his deep pupils. Judging from the appearance, it was Sci-Zhan, the master of the Wu clan's Kishan cave, who had previously fought against Su Junming in Qingyang Mountain, but was defeated. Coming from afar, it seems that fellow Taoist Si has figured it out. Sci-Zhan stared at the smiling green-robed Taoist sitting opposite. I want to know even more. How did you know that our witch clan has the great witch essence and blood? Su Junming smiled lightly. Of course he wouldn't say that he learned about it from Si Shaoji's memory. I once killed a witch general named Huosang and got some great witch essence blood from him. Huosang? The leader of the dragon clan in the Fire God Cave. The Wu tribe in southern Xinjiang has the upper 3 caves, the middle 18 caves and the lower 72 caves. There are high-ranking shaman generals who are equivalent to Jingxian in the upper 3 holes, and middle-ranking military generals who are equivalent to Xianxian in the middle 18th hole. In the 72 caves, there is a low-level shaman general who is equivalent to a true immortal. Each cave is composed of several clans. The Zhuolong clan is the most powerful Vulcan cave among the 18 caves, and one of the 4 main clans. Longer ago, the Vulcan cave was also one of the 3 upper caves, and was later replaced by Wuman cave. With such a background, it is indeed possible that the Zhuolong clan possesses the essence and blood of a great witch. Based on this alone, are you so sure that Qi Shen cave also has the blood of the great witch? Of course I can't be completely sure, but your reaction in Qingyang Mountain that day told me that you did. Thinking of how angry he was when he suddenly heard that the other party wanted the blood of the great witch, Sci-Zhan couldn't help but secretly curse treacherous. After taking a deep breath, he suppressed the anger in his heart. He took out a stone jar from the tiger skin pouch on his waist. The forbidden aura emitted from it told Su Junming that it was a magic weapon. Here is the great witch essence and blood you want. Where is my witch god battle axe? Su Junming smiled faintly and spread his left palm. Accompanied by a light black light, a copper axe that was slightly rough but exuded endless ferocious power appeared above the palm. The axe looked like a small size, but the strong evil aura on it made Sci-Zhan instantly excited. Witch god battle axe. The most powerful killing treasure in Qi Shen cave. If it had not been sealed in Qingyang Mountain, Blood God Cave and Wuman Cave along with Si Shaoji, it would not have been separated from Kishan Cave and its strength would have been greatly reduced. He forced himself to suppress the desire and excitement in his heart. I'll give you the great witch's essence and blood, and give me the witch god's battle axe. He reached out and took the stone jar that Sci-Zhan threw over, glanced at it lightly, and threw it back. Sci-Zhan's face changed slightly. What do you mean? What I want is a complete drop of the blood of the great witch, not a scrap. If you want to treat me like a beggar, then there is no need to continue today's transaction. The blood in this stone urn is only 1 foot in diameter, which is far behind the 100 feet of blood essence he got from Lord Huosang. Sci-Zhan's face remained unchanged and he said calmly, this is a complete drop of the great witch's essence blood. If you think that using this method means that you want me to compromise and let you slaughter me, then you are totally wrong. Su Junming's heart moved. The hanging painting with the word Dao behind him disappeared instantly and turned into a dark space again. Suddenly, a drop of blood, which was as big as 100 feet, black and red, exuding as strong life essence as the ocean, appeared in it. Su Junming waved his right hand, and the blood disappeared instantly, and the previous calm was restored again. Looking at Sci-Zhan's ugly look. If you still think I'm taking the opportunity to increase the price, just take your things and leave. Sci-Zhan's expression kept changing. Damn Huosang, you actually let this bastard get a complete drop of the great witch's essence blood. He looked at Sci-Zhan who was struggling with his aura floating around. Su Junming didn't rush him either. As long as you hold the trump card of the witch god's battle axe, you won't be afraid of the other party disobeying him. After a long time, Sci-Zhan took a deep breath. We in Shishen Cave don't have that much great witch essence and blood. From Si Shayaji's memory, we can see that there are 3 drops of blood essence of the great witch in Kishan Cave. Although nearly 100,000 years have passed, a lot has been consumed in the meantime. There should still be a complete drop. As soon as Su Junming shook hands, the witch god's battle axe floating in his palm disappeared instantly. Since you are not sincere, please go back. Etc. Since you have the essence and blood of a great witch and practice martial arts, you must know how helpful the essence and blood is to the physical body. The essence and blood of Kishan Cave has been passed down for tens of thousands of years, and too much has been consumed in the process. There is indeed not even a drop left today. Staring closely at Si Zhan's expression, Su Junming, who was proficient in Soul Taoism, was able to tell whether he was lying from the subtle fluctuations of his consciousness. How many more are there? 32 feet. You are lying. Su Junming shouted loudly, his powerful voice filled with the power of falling souls. Cezanne felt that his soul, which had been combined with his body, was trembling inexplicably. There was also a hint of panic in his eyes. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 747. Chapter 728, Giant Axe in exchange for divine blood. I'll give you one last chance. If you still plan to test your patience, never think of taking away the witch god's battle axe again. Seeing Su Junming's oppressive gaze, Si Zhan, who had always been full of confidence in himself, became inexplicably panicked. After struggling in his heart for a moment, he gritted his teeth. 89 feet, that's all there is. Su Junming nodded secretly. Judging from the fluctuations of Si Zhan's consciousness, this is indeed a real number. Yes, but you need to add an extra Phoenix date branch. It was just a branch, not the entire top-grade spiritual root. After a brief consideration, Cezanne agreed. All I carry with me is the blood of the great witch essence, not the Phoenix jujube branches. Then let someone send them here. Aren't there several middle-ranking shaman generals under the Kishan Cave? It's just a jujube branch. I can have someone bring it to you after I go back. Shaking his head slightly, I prefer cash on delivery. We don't owe anything. There was a hint of anger in Si Zhan's eyes, and the other party obviously didn't trust him. It's just that I have something to ask for, and coupled with my lack of strength, I can't say much. He fluttered his hands and made a few seals. A streak of blood flew out from his head and turned into a blood eagle. He spread his wings and flew out like lightning. Su Junming released the restrictions on Kongshanju and let it go away. It takes a while to get here from southern Xinjiang. It's okay, I can wait. Su Junming smiled. Si Zhan, disgusted with the greedy face in front of him, was too lazy to say anything more and sat down quietly. About half a day later, Yu Xiang walked in with a majestic witch general wearing animal skins. Cave Master. Si Zhan nodded and said, did you bring the things? Brought it? He put his hand into the leather bag at his waist and grabbed it out. A branch 10 feet long, as thick as a basin, with oval red leaves that look like glass, and wrapped with flame essence, appeared in the hand. Si Zhan took it with his hand and took out a clay pot sealed with dozens of feet of blood talisman from the leather pouch at his waist. My war axe of the witch god. Su Junming smiled calmly and tossed it casually, and a stream of blue-black light flew towards Si Zhan. The latter reached out and grabbed it, and a huge axe with a green and black handle, which was more than 1 foot long, fell into his palm. The huge axe with a thick black wood handle. Feeling the ferocious aura in the giant axe that was like a vast ocean, Si Zhan became excited and subconsciously pumped in his energy and blood. Boom! A black and red evil spirit rose into the sky. The violent murderous intent suppressed the newly arrived middle-ranking general and Yu Xiang, who was accompanying him, and couldn't help but retreat. His expression was full of horror. As if inspired by the evil spirit in the witch god's battle axe, the energy and blood on Si Jean's body burst out like the earth's fire magma that had been accumulated for thousands of years. The two merged into one, as if two hurricanes merged, and their power was more than doubled. With the axe in hand, infinite confidence rises from the bottom of my heart. Looking at the green-robed Taoist who was so close, a desire to chop him down with an axe rushed into his heart, and his eyes revealed a fierce and tyrannical light. However, Si Jean felt a shiver in his heart when he saw that the evil energy of himself and the witch god's battle axe were completely blocked by this room, and even the restriction was not manifested. I once again thought of that sword that dominated the world at Qingyang Mountain. It was as if a basin of cold water was poured down on him, and the fighting spirit in his heart was instantly extinguished. After taking a deep breath to calm down all the emotions in my heart, Si Jean waved his hand, and the stone jar and jujube branch that sealed the great witch's essence and blood flew over. This is what you want. If it is found to be correct, Si will leave. Su Junming, who had long seen the deficiency of essence and blood in the stone jar with a bronze mirror, patted the green gourd on his waist and put the two things in. Tong Suo Wuxi, you can leave. Farewell. Xiang see off the guests for me. Yes. Si Jean took a deep look at Su Junming sitting cross-legged on the futon, quickly turned around, and led his tribe out of Chongshan residence. There was a flash of light, and the Dragon Emperor's figure appeared next to him. Pity. Su Junming sighed slightly. I never thought that although this Si Jean is from the Wu clan, his character is very good. At the critical moment, he actually calmed down. The Dragon Emperor nodded. If Si Jean had struck down that axe just now, they would have been able to take down this strong man from the Witch clan. When the time comes to clean up Nanzao, there will be one less obstacle. Forget it, let's not talk about him. Have all the direct disciples settled down. Yu Xing was taken in by Yan Chixia, Tan Yungxiang became Miao Chufang's seventh disciple, and the rest were taken in by 3 generations of disciples who had become true immortals, said the Dragon Emperor. Yu Xing and Tan Yungxiang, one in the early stage of true immortal and the other in the middle stage of true immortal, are among the 39 people who passed the Dzi test of the human soul divine sect this time, and are the true immortals second only to Hesha Taoist priest Li Shaojing. However, compared to the latter, who has reached the level of a true immortal and is about to overcome the tribulation and become a mysterious immortal, they are still far behind. Therefore, he can only be regarded as a third-generation disciple. When the Song dynasty announces the fiefdom to the world, you can take all your disciples to the 3 northern counties. You're not going. I will stay here in Huanglong Mountain for the time being. There is still a good show waiting to be seen. Seeing his mysterious look, the Dragon Emperor didn't bother to ask any more questions. What to do with the 200,000 outer disciples? They have not accepted the training of Chongshan Academy, and they have not yet fully agreed with our philosophy. Separate the things above the soul, and I will teach them personally. The rest will be left to the Chongshan disciples who have ascended to the lower realm of Shushan to teach by words and deeds. After becoming the Golden Immortal, Su Junming was able to create 900 clones, enough to teach these new disciples. Where is the main campus of Chongshan Academy located this time? Dragon Emperor asked after nodding. Of course it is the most densely populated place in the world. The Dragon Emperor raised his eyebrows slightly, with a look of surprise on his face. Bianliang. To be precise, it should be Huanglong Mountain. I cleared away the poisonous miasma here, sorted out the earth's veins, set up a great spirit gathering formation, and preached to the world here. All my efforts cannot be in vain. After saying this, Su Junming patted the green gourd on his waist, and countless streams of light flew out, each of which was a magical weapon. Countless magic weapons formed a galaxy, circling and flying in front of Su Junming. If you can take a closer look, the entire galaxy is divided into 3 parts. The innermost part is 36 hills surrounded by clouds and mist, in the middle are 720 courtyards with 3 entrances to the front and 3 to the left, and finally there are 9,000 two-story bamboo buildings with courtyards. All the magic weapons are radiant with aura, exuding a strong aura of space. However, in addition to the 36 hills that are immortal weapons, the courtyard is a spiritual treasure, and the two-story bamboo building is only a magic weapon. 36 upper courts, 720 middle courts, and 9,000 lower courts, plus the Jotian formation I refined, are enough to seal the 3 counties. As he spoke, Su Junming took out a formation diagram from the green gourd and handed it over. He waved his sleeves and put everything away. I'll take them away first. After watching the Dragon Emperor leave, Su Junming went to the Creation Spirit Island to plant Fengzhou. In fact, at the beginning, he even thought about taking out the handle of the Witch God's battle axe and planting it with the aura of creation. But later, after discovering that the axe handle was only made from the branches of Fengzhou, he was too lazy to do it again. To get a jujube branch from the witch tribe to replant it requires much less creative energy than to remove the evil spirit from the axe handle and replant it. Come to Tiangong Hall, take out Si Zhan's clay pot, and remove the seal on it. In an instant, a powerful energy and blood surged into the sky. He stretched out his hand and made a move, and in an instant, a huge mass of nearly 90 feet, dark red and like the scorching sun, appeared in the Tiangong Hall. Feeling the life essence in it, which was as vast as the vast ocean, Su Junming couldn't help but show excitement. With a finger, the 1 Yuan lotus furnace at the top of the Tiangong divine furnace emitted golden light. Along with the strong suction, the blood of the nearly 90-foot-high witch slowly flew down, getting smaller and smaller, and finally disappeared into it. Although the 1 Yuan artifact refining furnace appears to be only about 10 feet in size on the surface, as part of the Tiangong divine furnace, after being upgraded to the middle grade innate spiritual treasure, the space contained inside has reached tens of millions of miles. Not to mention this small amount of blood from the Great Witch, even a small world can hold it. The lotus furnace that collected the essence and blood flew down to the heavenly furnace. Pure yin flames as black as ink surrounded him. Feeling the pure fire power in it, Su Junming secretly looked forward to it. I don't know which ancestral witch's blood essence can be tempered in the end. After learning from Si Shaoji's memory that there was a great witch's essence and blood in Kishan Cave, he had been paying attention to this essence and blood. The purpose is to refine the divine blood of the ancestral witch like Zhu Rong's essence and blood. If it can be realized in the end, using this blood as the foundation and using the spirit embryo of creation to breed the spirit body, it will surely be able to forge 3 powerful Dharma bodies for the 3 souls of non-poison, filth removal, and stinky lungs that have not yet been born. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 748. Chapter 729, Heavenly Master's Plan, Jamang's Essence and Blood. Half a month after Huang Longshan's sermon, the Song Dynasty court announced to the world that Su Junming, the founder of Chongshan Academy and the founder of Chongshan Academy, the true lord of Taisha Chongshan, was granted the title of King of the Great Way of Protecting the Country, which was as high as the 3 dukes. In addition to the order, the 3 counties of Yanmen, Yunzong, and Wuyuan in the north were granted to Chongshan Academy as fiefs. As soon as the 2 edicts came out, the whole Song dynasty was in an uproar. Especially the last edict involving fiefdoms is particularly surprising. You know, even the number 1 sect in the world, the Tianchi Dao, only has 1 fiefdom in Anla County. Just when everyone thought that the Taoist sects in the world would inevitably attack in groups, causing the imperial family and Chongshan Academy to spit out 2 counties, the 4 sects of Tianchi Tao, Shenxiao Tao, Chunyang sect, and Kongtong sect were unexpectedly quiet. Without them taking the lead, no one from the remaining Taoist sects would dare to attack Chongshan Academy. After all, that was a golden immortal. Longhu Mountain stretches thousands of miles across and is filled with strange peaks and rocks, waterfalls, springs, and exotic flowers and plants. It can be called a fairyland on earth. The Chaotian Peak in the center rises thousands of feet from the ground, with sharp upper and lower peaks and a majestic momentum. If anyone who practices spiritual eye magic looks at it, the entire Chaotian Peak will be shrouded in a golden dragon and a giant tiger holding the sky. An invisible shield emanated from the bodies of the golden dragon and giant tiger, covering the entire Chaotian Peak. Passing through the shield, you can see the waves of pine trees on Chaotian Peak, and the Taoist temples with yellow walls and black tiles hidden among the greenery. In particular, the Taoist temple at the top of the mountain covers thousands of acres, with faint spiritual light, high Taoist spirit, and extremely powerful momentum. At the end of the Taoist temple is a purple bamboo forest. In the middle of the bamboo forest is a simple thatched hut. In the yard in front of the hut, there are large wooden piles with roots from old trees. On both sides of the wooden pile, an old Taoist priest with white beard and hair was slowly sipping tea. Opposite him was an old Taoist with gray hair wearing purple Taoist robes. Judging from the appearance, it was Zhang Xiaoyang who had dealt with Su Junming several times. At this moment, the latter looked serious and was staring closely at the old Taoist opposite. "Senior brother, do we really not care about the fiefdom?" She glanced at him with a smile. "Junior brother, you should know the purpose of the Song dynasty handing over the 3 counties to Chongshan Academy. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that blocking the Liao kingdom from moving south," Zhang Xiaoyang said. "Su Junming can also see it. But if there is only 1 county, do you think he would be willing?" Zhang Xiaoyang frowned and shook his head. "No one wants to do thankless things. But the land of the 3 counties is really too big, and Yanmen, Yunzong, and Wuyuan are among the most large counties in the world, with a vast territory. Haha, although the land of the 3 counties is vast, it has long been depleted due to wars and wars. The land is exhausted and the people are trapped. It is not enough compared to the 2 prefectures in the hinterland of the Central Plains. It is even less compared to Anlu County, my fiefdom of Tianqi-dao. The gap is huge. What senior brother said is true. However, with Su Junming's wisdom, he must have seen the weaknesses of the 3 counties. In this case, he is still willing to choose these 3 counties, and he probably has other agendas. It's not a conspiracy. He just believes that he can stop the Liao kingdom and restore the 3 counties to their ancient glory." Zhang Xiaoyang looked serious. "With Su Junming's strength, this can probably be done. Even if he could do it, there wouldn't be enough time." Zhang Xiaoyang nodded. He knew what his senior brother meant. In another 100 years, there will be a period of succession of the 5 emperors. In order to fight for luck and break through the Tai realm, there will inevitably be another war. It can be foreseen that the battle between the 5 countries will inevitably be a big fight involving humans, gods, immortals, demons, and Buddhas. The situation will be extremely tragic. In 100 years, even if Chongshan Academy could block the Liao kingdom, it would not be able to completely change the situation of weakness and poverty here for thousands of years. 3 feet of ice does not freeze in one day. There has been no movement from Shenxiao Dao, Chunyang sect, and Kongtong sect so far. Most of them have the same idea as my senior brother." Zhang Chongyang nodded. "Who in the world can achieve the status of a golden immortal, but who else is like ye? Then we should just wait and see what happens." Zhang Chongyang shook his head and smiled on his face. "On behalf of our heavenly master, you declare to the world that we respect the Song dynasty's decree and congratulate Chongshan Academy for establishing 3 counties to jointly control the Liao kingdom." The last 4 words that were deliberately emphasized made Zhang Xiaoyang understand. "Senior brother is wise, I will explain it now." As soon as the words fell, the figure disappeared instantly. After drinking the last sip of spiritual tea, Zhang Kongyang's eyes revealed a hint of thought. The secret of heaven has manifested. 100 years from now, the world will be in chaos, and the chaos will come from Longhu Mountain. Why is it my Longhu Mountain? A trace of sadness crept into my heart. The announcement of Tianqi Dao caused an uproar among the Taoist sects in the Central Plains, but soon after, Shenxiao Dao, Chunyang sect, and Kongtong sect all announced their support for the Song dynasty's edict. The situation calmed down instantly. None of the four major sects objected, and no one else had the right to object to the rest. The three-county fiefdom of Chongshan Academy was thus a foregone conclusion. In the sky of Huanglong Mountain, Su Junming and Dragon Emperor stood side by side. On the white clouds in the distance, there are 200,000 disciples, standing quietly. They'll leave it to you. Tai has gone too far and is afraid that he will be targeted by Jin and Liao. Why don't you go and help him? Asked the Dragon Emperor. No need. With his innate magical power, he is already invincible. Not to mention the Swanyan Gourd and Guangcheng Golden Boat Protector. The Dragon Emperor nodded without being verbose. The great five-element divine light on his body soared into the sky, and with a sweep in the air, he instantly collected all 200,000 people, and turned into a five-color rainbow light and disappeared into the distance. After looking at the direction he left, Su Junming took a step forward and returned to Chongshan residence again. Stepping into Tiangong Hall, a wave of heat rolled in. The 100-foot-high Tiangong Divine Furnace stands like a bronze hill in the center. 300 feet away is a wall in the shape of a trigram, going straight up and down. Alcoves of varying sizes extend upward along the walls to the 1,000-foot-high roof. There are wooden boxes, stone boxes, jade bottles, and other items placed in the small half-niche, totaling tens of thousands of them. There are the elixirs, magical weapons, and formation diagrams refined by Su Junming, as well as the spiritual materials, spiritual fruits, and elixirs he collected. It is all the accumulation he has accumulated in the four worlds during his nearly 600 years of practicing Taoism. The 365 luminous pearls on the roof emit a cool brilliance, illuminating the entire Tiangong Hall. When his spiritual consciousness penetrates the Tiangong Divine Furnace, he can see two golden lotuses, one above the other, bathed in flames. Needless to say, the golden lotus refined by the neutral purple fire contained the elixir he refined. The golden lotus refined in the yin fire above was the purpose of his trip. With the help of spiritual consciousness, you can see. In the lotus, most of the nearly 90 feet of blood of the Great Witch essence had been lost. The Great Witch essence and blood mixed with the Earth's turbid air and blood energy have been continuously extracted, and after a large amount of Earth's turbid air has been separated, it has faintly changed into black, green, and red colors. Black, which represents the turbidity of the Earth, is the least, followed by cyan, and red is the best. Most things in the world become more difficult the later you go. It took him a month to concentrate the blood of the Great Witch essence by nearly 90%, but when it came to the last 10%, it was more than 10 times slower. Sitting cross-legged in silence, time passed by. I don't know how long it will take. Sudden roar. Overbearing, desolate, and full of wild roar, it seems to have transcended time and space, from the depths of the universe, following the veins of genes, and reaching Su Junming's sea of consciousness. My heart was shocked. Coming. As the blood continues to be tempered, the roar becomes louder and clearer. Immediately following, a phantom of gods and demons that reached the sky and touched the ground, huge and full of evil energy, reflected into the sea of consciousness. This god-demon has a green body, a human face and a bird's body, and has 2 arms. Under his giant claws, there are 2 giant blue dragons. On his body, in addition to the frightening evil aura, there is also the rich source of green wood. The ancestral witch of Wood Jamang. A clear understanding suddenly appeared in Su Junming's mind. It turns out that the great witch essence and blood possessed by Qi Shen Cave comes from Wu Jimang, the ancestor of wood. No wonder we have the opportunity to obtain the innate red fruit. Feeling the increasingly powerful aura in the blood of the great witch essence, as well as the size that still reaches 12 feet in diameter. This blood essence contains more energy than the previous blood essence of Julong's great witch. But from now on I should call you Jimang essence and blood. Although it is not pure yet, it already has the essence of the ancestral witch's divine blood. While Su Junming was practicing the magic essence and blood with peace of mind, Jin and Liao were very busy with the increasingly bad situation in their respective countries. Boom! The gorgeous jade table was violently kicked over and flew hundreds of feet before falling to pieces. You're a bunch of losers. It's been 6 years. Not only have you not caught anyone, but you have also exhausted all the human slaves that our Daliao kingdom has accumulated for countless years. Yeliki said angrily. Looking at the king of Biwen who seemed to be choosing people to devour, the officials of the Liao dynasty who were kneeling on the ground, although they were all immortal figures, looked like frightened quails, their heads touching the ground one by one, for fear that the other party would notice. Own. Seeing this situation, Zhou Pihong, the king of the south court of Liao kingdom, was watching the fun next to him, but there was sarcasm in his eyes. In the Liao kingdom, the demonic path and the demonic path coexisted. The demonic path naturally belongs to the demon clan, while the demonic path is based on the human race. Although the demon sects are also murderous and regard ordinary people as weeds that can be killed at will, they still know that ordinary people are their foundation. Once too many people are killed and there are not enough cultivation talents to support the sect, they will eventually die. Therefore, there will be some bottom line, and civilians will not be killed pointlessly. But the demon clan is different. Their foundation is those of ordinary demon clan, so they regard the human race as human pigs, not only killing them at will, but also using them as food rations. The situation is 100 times more miserable than that of the human race ruled by the devil. However, in order to jointly control the Song dynasty and the covetousness of Jin and Zixia, they also knew the importance of cooperation with each other. In addition, neither of them is a good thing, so some differences are not important. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 749. Report. A guard wearing armor flew in from outside the door. Get down on one knee. Report to the 2 great kings that Prime Minister Zhou of the Kingdom of Jin is visiting. Aruhan is here. Yeluqi frowned and subconsciously looked at Zhou Pihong next to him. The sarcasm in the latter's eyes made him feel angry. But thinking about what happened next, I felt depressed again. Like the Jin kingdom, the Liao kingdom was a country where human rights and divine rights were integrated, and the emperor was also the immortal emperor of the Black Emperor immortal domain. However, the Liao emperor had been in seclusion for many years, and most state affairs were left to Zhou Pihong and Yeliki. Why do you think Aruhan came? The guy who calls himself Tai has taken away the human pigs raised by your demon race, so there is no reason to let the Jin kingdom go. And compared to the Liao kingdom, the Jin kingdom is a real demon country, with more humans in captivity and losses. It's more tragic. Obviously they couldn't catch that guy either. Aruhan is here, maybe he's here to ask for our help. Take the initiative to ignore the sarcasm in Zhou Pihong's eyes. If he can disrupt our 2 countries, Jin and Liao, and escape repeatedly, I'm afraid that guy named Tai is not just a Xianxian. Zhou Pihong's expression gradually became serious. No one can despise an enemy who may be a golden immortal. You all go down. The kneeling courtiers exited the hall as if they were being pardoned. Bring Aruhan in. Yes. The golden armored demon general was about to exit, but before he could get up, an irresistible suction force enveloped his head. The body flew up involuntarily, flying towards the mouth of a silver-white wolf head covered with hair like steel needles, with vertical pupils filled with bone-chilling evil aura, and snow-white fangs filled with infinite murderous aura. Your Majesty, spare your life. The demon general was so frightened that he lost his soul and struggled desperately. It's a pity that his cultivation level is only at the level of heavenly immortal, and he can't break free from the grasp of golden immortal. Accompanied by shrill shouts, creak and the sound of broken muscles and bones. The sound gradually disappeared, and red blood flowed down the corners of his lips. The wolf head with its mouth full of steel teeth flashed and turned into yellow chi again. The tongue, which was sticky with meat foam and had barbs, licked the corner of his mouth. As if flesh and blood could calm emotions, the ferocity in his eyes gradually weakened until it disappeared. Not long after, Aruhan, the tall left prime minister of the kingdom of Jin, strode into the hall. Feeling the bloody smell remaining in the air, his eyes flashed but he didn't say much. He often does this kind of thing. Both fellow Taoists, you are well. Stop talking nonsense, what are you doing here? Yelaki, who was in a bad mood, said coldly. Aruhan smiled lightly and was not angry. It seems that fellow Taoist Yelu is also very angry about the large number of human pigs being robbed in China. Yelaki's eyes flashed. Could it be that the same is true for the kingdom of Jin? Among all the countries in the world, when it comes to the number of human pigs, our kingdom of Jin is the largest. What do you think, fellow Taoist? So, it took you 6 years to catch the thief named Tai Yi, and you allowed him to bring harm to our country, Liao. Aruhan's eyes turned cold. Fellow Taoist, what you said is too much. If you want to be held accountable, the Tai thief appeared in your Liao kingdom first. This kind of thing can never be explained clearly. After venting his emotions, Yelaki was too lazy to continue this topic. Fellow Taoist, you didn't come to Daliao just to talk about these things, right? Of course not. I am here to invite the two of you to work together to kill that bastard named Tai, so that we and you will not suffer any more losses. Yellow Chi and Zhou Pihong, who had never spoken next to him, changed their expressions at the same time. The thief named Tai Yi is a golden immortal. Otherwise, do you think that if he is a Xianxian, he can escape our trap? And you want me to come to ask for help in person? It's impossible. When the golden immortal was born, the catastrophe was tens of thousands of miles away. It's impossible to hide it from everyone, Zhou Pihong said. Nothing is impossible. If it weren't for Jingxian, why could your Liao country be unable to do anything about him? Perhaps Tai has reached the perfection of Xianxian, and has strange treasures or magical powers, Zhou Pihong said. By the way, isn't your Qing emperor of the Jin kingdom good at heavenly secrets and calculations, and can calculate all the world? Didn't you calculate that Tai's identity and cultivation? Aruhan shook his head. Lord Qingdi said that this person has a treasure that conceals the secrets of heaven, and it is difficult for him to figure out this person's whereabouts. You can't even count the Qing emperor. A look of surprise appeared on Yelaki's face. At that time, the Liao kingdom had suffered greatly from the calculations of the Qing emperor Yellow Zhonghan. If the more powerful Song state had not been on the side to contain it, and the two countries still needed to be united to survive, I am afraid that the Liao kingdom would have turned into the Jin kingdom of land. Now the two of them finally believed that the thief named Tai, who they had never met before, might really be Jingxian. What are you going to do? Yelaki asked. Lord Qingdi has a 10,000 demons conferring God's array. Once it is set up, the golden immortal will not be able to escape. Yellow Qi and Zhou Pihong's expressions changed. Such a powerful formation can handle the golden immortal, so of course they have to be careful. After all, although the Jin and Liao countries chose to cooperate under the pressure of the Song dynasty, if the Song dynasty disappeared or became weak, they would immediately become the same. However, the formation is currently encountering some difficulties and needs your help. Yellow Qi and Zhou Pihong looked at each other with alert expressions. I don't know how you want me and you to help you. Referring to others, Aruhan could more or less guess the concerns of the two. After a faint smile. Don't worry, you two, you don't need to take action personally. Just because the 10,000 demons conferring God's formation is a sealing formation, if you want Taiyi who is hiding in the dark to come to your door, you will need a large number of people to lure him. Come out. I don't have enough people in the kingdom of Jinn, so I need your help. The people of the Jinn kingdom have tens of billions of pigs. Isn't this enough? Yelaki asked in surprise. There was a hint of anger in Aruhan's eyes. It was not the first time they had done the scene of using human pigs to lure Tai to the bait and then capturing him in one fell swoop. It's just that I made a wrong judgment before and made 2 consecutive shots, but the opponent calmly escaped. The identity of the other party was not even clear. After 2 consecutive traps, plus those previously taken away by the opponent, the tens of billions of pigs in the kingdom of Jinn were almost exhausted. This was also the reason why he had to go to Liao for help. Not enough. Aruhan said in a dull voice. Yeluqi and Zhoupihong were not stupid. When they saw each other's expressions, they knew they must have suffered a big loss at Tai's hands. After secretly gloating about his misfortune. I can give you 30 million, Yelaki said. Aruhan shook his head. At least 500 million. Yelaki was furious at his greed. Why don't you go and grab it? No. If the quantity is small, there is no way to lure the other party to take the bait. He snorted coldly. Don't forget, that bastard stole countless pigs from our Liao kingdom. Now that we have searched the entire prairie and gathered all the pigs from all the tribes, there are not even 100 million. Of course Aruhan knew this, so he had no intention of wasting time with Yelaki from the beginning. He turned to look at Zhoupihong. Brother Zhou has tens of billions of humans under his command. It shouldn't be difficult to provide 500 million old, weak, sick, and disabled, right? Young adults are the most valuable, so he wisely gave up. Zhoupihong's expression remained unchanged. The kingdom of Jin is close to the Song dynasty. Why doesn't Brother Wanyan go there to find a solution? The great Song dynasty has a new Guo Dao lord who is both a martial artist and capable of defeating the 3 top shaman generals in Nanzhao. I don't want to get in trouble with him now. What's more, the big plan we have been planning for many years is coming to an end. At this critical moment of implementation, unless necessary, do not draw the Song dynasty's attention to us. Aruhan reached into his waist and took out a jade box from his brocade bag. Brother Zhou, please look. Zhoupihong stretched out his hand and the jade box flew into his hand. After the seal on it was opened, a strong yin qi that was almost solidified emerged from the gap in the jade box. Open the jade box. Infinite yin energy spurted out like a sea tide. In the infinite yin qi, a bit of white starlight grew from weak to strong, from small to large, and in the blink of an eye turned into a huge animal bone 30 feet high and more than 20 feet wide. 10,000 armor yin bones. Zhoupihong's face was full of excitement. A period of 60 years, 10,000 years of at least 600,000 years. Skeletons that have absorbed hundreds of thousands of years of yin qi underground are the top spiritual materials in the devil's path. As long as Brother Zhou agrees to send 500 million human pigeons to our kingdom of Jin, these 10,000 armored vaginal bones will be given to Brother Zhou to refine the magic treasure. It's a deal. Zhoupihong looked excited. Wanjia yin bone is a top material that can be used to refine Genpai's treasure, and it is easily difficult to find. In exchange for it, let alone 500 million old, weak, sick, and disabled, he would be willing to pay for 1 billion or 2 billion. In any case, it won't be long before more people fill the vacancies. It's a deal. Aruhan smiled. He looked confident, as if he had everything under control. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 750. Grandpa, I'm hungry. Looking at the sallow and thin grandson in his arms, Old man Zhao couldn't help feeling sad. They were originally ordinary tenants in Huiran Mansion, Yingzhou, Liao State. Originally, the life of a family of four was pretty good. A few years ago, when they went hunting in the mountains, they fell from a tree and broke their legs. The Zhao family, who had no source of income, suddenly became even worse. Looking at his young son who was waiting to be fed, Zhao Dai cruelly sold himself. As we all know, the magic method requires a lot of souls to refine magic weapons, but if they kill them wantonly, no matter how many people they have, they won't be enough. In order to maintain rule, the Six Paths Demon Sect, where Zhou Pihong is headquartered, stipulates that no demon sect is allowed to kill civilians indiscriminately, but it can allow the old, weak, sick, and disabled to sell themselves for money. Although I know that selling is death, for those who can't survive, no matter how they die, it is death. It is better to leave some money for their families, so that at least they can survive. Through this method, the major sects of the demonic path can receive hundreds of millions of souls and blood essence refining treasures every year. Miraculously, it can also maintain civil peace and stability. After Zhao De died, his wife took the money left by her son and ran away. The grandfather and grandson were left without a livelihood. Old man Zhao only survives by digging wild vegetables every day, and can barely make ends meet. But a few days ago, Zhao Yuanwei, the village chief and the only wealthy household, found them. The grandfather and grandson, unable to resist, were sent to the county government office together with a few half-buried old men and a foolish child in the village. From the county government office to Fukan, from Fukan to Zhoucheng, and from Zhoucheng. Got here. Old man Zhao has never seen so many people. People like them lived in tents all over the mountains and plains, but old man Zhao, who had never read a book, didn't know how many there were. Anyway, wherever his eyes could see there were people. But the difference is that the people who came with him can still see a little sparkle in their eyes, while those in ragged clothes can only see numbness in their eyes. It was as if they were no longer human beings, just puppets in human skin. Boss Zhao endured his grief and hugged his grandson tightly. He knew that from the moment he left home, there was no way for them to survive. Over the years, he has seen too much. All the people who left Zhejiakan, except for the eldest son of Zhao Yuanwei, who was said to have become an immortal, no one ever came back. It doesn't matter if I die, then I won't know how to be hungry, and I won't have to suffer any more, old man Zhao thought desperately. At this moment, he finally understood why those people with numb eyes looked like zombies. Because they have lost hope in life and are left with only the spirit of death. It's time to eat, it's time to eat. Two tall, strong, bare-headed men wearing armor came over carrying a giant man larger than a water tank. There is scalding hot porridge in the urn. The aroma of rice made everyone present drool. But looking at the ferocious bare head of the giant man and the exaggerated giant axe behind him, no one dared to fight for it. Because everyone who fought for it had their head smashed by the opponent and swallowed it in one gulp. Everyone line up for me and come one by one. If anyone dares to disobey the rules, Grandpa Bear will slap him into a pulp. Old man Zhao quickly took his broken bowl to the queue, fearing that he would not be able to grab it if he was too late. Fortunately, there are a lot of demons serving food here, and if you ask for it after you finish eating, there will still be food available, which can keep everyone full. In mid-air, on a green demonic cloud, a Ruhan, wearing a gorgeous robe, folded his arms and looked at the situation below. After a while. How many people are there already? Next to him, wearing a purple official robe, tall and thin, with a pair of tiger ears, Zhou Shilang, the Minister of Etiquette of the Jin Kingdom Cabinet, suddenly said quickly. Looking back to Mr. Zhou Xiang, counting those sent by the Liao Kingdom and those sent by various tribes in our country, there are almost 200 million pigs. Aruhan's brows twitched. This number was much less than he expected. You know, they only came from the Liao kingdom with 500 million, plus the wealth accumulated by the Jin kingdom over the years, the total is 1.5 billion. As a result, except for the people he and Wang Yanzhen brought there personally, the rest were all kidnapped by the guy named Tai Yi. The elite demon army escorting these humans were also all lost. Not only did their Jin kingdom's strength suffer a heavy blow, but the opponent's surprisingly fast escape method was even more unbelievable. You must know that the combined area of Jin and Liao is nearly 90 million miles. Even with his speed, it would take half a day to fly back and forth. It only took the other side one day to wipe out nearly 300 teams escorting people and pigs in Jin and Liao countries, as well as the 300,000 elite iron pagodas responsible for guarding. You must know that the lowest cultivation level of the Taifutu demon army is the nascent soul realm, and the generals are all true immortals. A Mengan iron pagoda formed a military formation. If he wanted to capture them all, it would take a lot of effort. It can be seen that Tai is very powerful. There was a strong murderous look in Aruhan's eyes. Taifutu is an elite, and the entire Jin kingdom only has about 3 million in total. Of these 300,000, plus the losses in the past 6 years, Taifutu has lost nearly half of it. It can be described as disastrous. We must get rid of Tai, otherwise Dajin, will have trouble sleeping and eating, Aruhan thought to himself. With his mind set, he took a breath and turned his head. Take care of these people, this is our last resort. Although the Song dynasty placed the newly emerged Golden Immortal at the border of the Liao kingdom, no one could guarantee whether the other party would appear when the Jin dynasty and Song dynasty fought. Moreover, this is a ruthless man whose ability can overwhelm the 3 top witch generals of the witch clan. Except for the Qing emperor himself, neither he nor his right minister Wang Yanzhen are any match for him. Therefore, unless forced, Aruhan did not want to go to the Song dynasty to collect human pigs. I obey your orders. I don't care what method you use, if more than 1 million people here die within a month, I will skin you off. Looking at Master Zhou Xiang's cold eyes, cold sweat broke out from behind too. From what he had seen over the years, he had no doubt that this lord could do what he said. Don't worry, Minister Zhou, I will take good care of everyone. After patting him on the shoulder, Aruhan's figure gradually disappeared. After a long time, Tukai suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. He straightened his back and wiped the sweat from his forehead. First give the bastard under my command a good beating. When the time comes that there are not enough people, the left prime minister will not let me go. As a demon clan, he knew exactly what he was accepting. If we don't give it a try, those greedy bastards won't be able to do it secretly. Suddenly Tu took off the bronze bell from his waist and activated his magic power to shake it. Along with the crisp sound of the bell, several streams of light flew from below, and 6 or 7 figures wearing official robes appeared on the ground. Judging from their appearance, they either have horns or scales on their faces, or they have wide mouths and fangs, so they are obviously demons. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 751. See you, sir. All the demons quickly bowed and saluted. The demon tribe is vulgar and has no culture, so both the control and the language are a replica of the Song dynasty. Get up. Suddenly Tu waved his hand casually. As a second-rank official of the imperial court, he groveled before the left prime minister Aruhan, but in front of these demon officials, he was indeed a big shot that they did not dare to offend. The prime minister of the left has an order that no one should eat less than 1 pig. Anyone who violates this rule will be beheaded in public display. Even you and others will be held jointly and severally responsible, and their homes and families will be confiscated and exterminated. All the demons felt a chill in their hearts. Sir, it's just a few people who died as pigs. Isn't this punishment too severe? Yes, aren't human pigs just for eating? These monsters have long been accustomed to eating humans, and they never thought it was a big deal to kill a few humans. Suddenly Tu's expression turned cold. You question the left Prime Minister's oral instructions. The blade-like eyes made all the monsters feel excited. The kingdom of Jin is not the Song dynasty, and there is no saying that you can't be punished as a doctor. If you fail to complete the errands assigned by the superior officials, you will really lose your head, especially if it is the errands assigned by the left Prime Minister. Sir, please calm down, we will never dare, we won't. I have made it very clear to you. If the number of human pig deaths exceeds 10,000 within a month, you will know the consequences if the left Prime Minister comes to trial, so Tu said with murderous intent. 10,000. The demons felt bitter in their mouths. The people sent by the Jin kingdom were nothing more than pigs, but those sent by the Liao kingdom were basically old, weak, sick, and disabled. Let alone 10,000 or 1 million within a month, they all find it as difficult as climbing to the sky. What? You can't do it? Suddenly Tu said coldly. In order to complete the task as much as possible, he compressed the 1 million death target handed down by left Prime Minister Aruhan by 100 times. Your Excellency, those people in Liao are all old, weak, sick, and disabled, and their health is really poor. Even if they were given enough food every day, tens of thousands of them would have died in the past 3 days. 10,000 a month is too much in Taipei, it's more difficult. My lord, there are a lot of people here, and it's a wild place. Any disease can kill everyone. If a plague breaks out. All right. After interrupting the monsters, don't I know the difficulties you are talking about? What I want is a solution, do you understand? All the demons looked at each other, and a demon official with a fox head said, Your Excellency, it is better to ask Mr. Zhou Xiang to issue a decree and ask people from the Taiyuan hospital to come over, so that once the plague is discovered, it can be extinguished in time. This is okay, is there anything else? Many of our demon clan are proficient in earth-moving Taoism. We can build more houses to protect these people from the cold and rain. Only with a good environment can they survive more. In addition, add some low-grade Beiwadan to their daily meals to strengthen their muscles and bones. If these 3 things are done in parallel, these people will be able to survive. After thinking for a while, Tu suddenly nodded with satisfaction. Hu Qin, this is a very good idea. I will remember you for your contribution. Thank you, sir. The demons looked at this man with a hint of jealousy in their eyes. If he could be remembered by the minister, he would naturally have more opportunities to be promoted in the future. Who has any other ideas? Hu Tu continued. My lord, I have an idea. A demon official with the head of a snake said respectfully. Say it. Yes. My subordinates discovered that there are 20 to 30 million women in the prime of life among these people. If all these women can be pregnant, there will be 20 to 30 million more people, and then the minister will be able to sit back and relax. The huge amount suddenly made Hu Tu happy. Your Excellency, Shi Hong's proposal is simply delusional. A demon official with a human face, an eagle's beak, and sharp eyes spoke. Why? Back to your lord. It takes 10 months for a human woman to get pregnant and give birth. Lord Zhou Xiang may not be able to wait that long. Suddenly Tu frowned. I was so happy that I ignored this problem. Don't worry, sir. We, the Baishan snake clan, cultivate a kind of elixir called linghong grass. We use this medicine to make elixirs. As long as a woman takes it, she will not only be 100% pregnant, but also shorten the pregnancy period 10 times. Is this true? Suddenly Tu became excited. I will never deceive you. Very good. If this can be accomplished, I will credit you with your first contribution. The snake demon named Shi Hong instantly became excited. Thank you, sir. A higher official position represents more luck, and naturally it is easier to improve one's cultivation. A huge illusory bronze mirror with a length of 100 feet reflects everything in the valley. Surrounding the bronze mirror, Su Junming, Dragon Emperor, and Tai Zhenjun sat cross-legged. I didn't expect that the kingdom of Jin still took away 200 million people, Tai sighed. Just take it back. Dragon Emperor said coldly. But, my lord. Looking at the numbness of these people, they are nothing more than walking corpses. Apart from wearing a human skin, they have no sense of resistance at all. They are of no help to our plan. Over the years, Tai has rescued about 20 billion people from the demon clan, and they have basically been placed in the three counties of Yanmen, Yunzong, and Wuyuan. As the person in charge of the three counties, he has seen many times that these people are numb, stupid, and submissive. Su Junming glanced at him. The Dragon Emperor had an arrogant temperament. He would rather bend than bend. He hated the sight of others being submissive and being beaten and scolded. Instead, I admire those who are upright and tenacious, even if they are enemies. They have been held captive by the demon clan for many years. It is strange that they have the spirit of resistance. But I didn't put my hope in them. The heirs of these people, the Dragon Emperor asked. Su Junming nodded. The population of the three counties is too small. If we use this as the basis, it will be difficult for us to lay a solid foundation in 100 years. If there are 20 billion more people, it will be different. In 100 years, there will be as many as 100 billion. With such a population base, enough talents can emerge. With my ability in alchemy and weapon refining, it will take 100 years to achieve what others have achieved in 1,000 years. Based on this, we have the capital to annex the Liao kingdom. If we add the accumulation of the Shushan world, we will truly have the foundation to annex the world. The Dragon Emperor nodded. I understand your plan, but with my personality, I'm afraid I'm not suitable for managing the three counties. You don't need to manage, you just need to sit in charge. Leave the management to Our Lady of the Golden Needle, Qingfeng, Qilu, and Qiankang. They are rich in experience. Qilu, after swallowing a sip of wine, Tai Zhenjun flicked his fingers. The image of the giant mirror in mid-air suddenly changed. Three men wearing gorgeous robes with earth-shattering auras appeared among them. Especially the man in green robe in the middle has the strongest aura. In the palm of his hand, he held a tortoise shell the size of a wash basin, with an obscure aura and glittering with countless magical runes. Powerful spiritual light spread out from the tortoise shell, covering nearly 1,000 miles around, forming a huge magic circle. Millions of demon armies wearing helmets and armor were arrayed in all directions, and the billowing demon aura formed 8 giant pillars of demon aura tens of millions of feet long, making the power of this array several times stronger. Tisk, tisk, in order to catch me, they are really willing to spend a lot of money. Qing Emperor Wanyanzong Han, Left Minister Alia Han, Right Minister Wanyanzan, plus 1,000,000 iron pagodas, and a top-notch formation. It seems they have determined that you will rescue people, Su Junming said with a smile. Haha, after so many years, I have wiped out all the people in Jin and Liao. How could they not know? Su Junming nodded and said, go ahead, don't let me down. Tai nodded. How about killing the guy who stayed? Of course. Break one of their legs first, so that they won't come and cause trouble when we clean up the Liao kingdom in the future, Su Junming said. After Tai nodded, his figure disappeared instantly. Are you going to Shangjing or Qinbei Mountain? Go to Beijing, there are many monsters there. And your current status is not suitable for you to appear there. Be careful with the dragon Qi of the imperial dynasty. Although it is not as good as the great Song dynasty, it cannot be underestimated. Rest assured. The figure of the Dragon Emperor disappeared instantly. It's time for me to set off. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 752. Qinbei Mountain spans nearly 1,000,000 miles. It is the holy mountain of the kingdom of Jin and where the spiritual veins are located. There is a strong aura in the mountain and there are many demon clans. Unlike those in Shangjing City, those who occupy this spiritual mountain are all direct descendants of the Wanyan royal family. Strong. Moreover, the Tianzi Peak in the center of Qinbei Mountain is where the Qing Emperor's immortal court is located. It is said to be a fairy garden, but it is actually a small world. It's just that this small world is extremely vast, covering 13 million miles in length and breadth. Xiaoqian world, like the Qinbei Mountain outside, is a world of monsters. Compared with the outside world, this is the real core of the Jin kingdom. There are many evil spirits inside. There are more than 20 great demons at the mysterious immortal level, and even more at the true immortal level. Powerful demonic energy spreads throughout every corner of Xiaoqian world. Suddenly, a big black hole appeared thousands of feet above Tianzi Peak. Immediately afterwards, a young man wearing a green Taoist robe and a bronze bell tied around his waist walked out. It was Su Junming who came from Huanglong Mountain in the Song dynasty. Looking at the Qingdi demon realm below that is completely connected to the Qinbei Mountains, Sumina mustered. With his current level of cultivation, it is not easy to shake a small world of 13 million miles. But if you add powerful enough treasures, that's another story. He stretched out his hand and pointed, and in a flash of light, a bronze furnace with a lotus as its top and 3 legs and 2 ears appeared in front of him. The flames in the furnace are blazing. It is his natal spiritual treasure, the divine furnace of heavenly craftsmanship. Touching the simple and lukewarm furnace body. Since you advanced, you have never used it against the enemy. Today is a chance, so I will let you show off your power. As if hearing his voice, the Tiangong divine furnace roared and instantly turned into a giant of thousands of feet. Su Junming waved his sleeves and drank. 1 Yuan heaven covering formation. A 1 Yuan golden lotus flower flew up from the furnace lid, its golden light shining in the sky. In an instant, the complex golden divine patterns turned into a powerful golden net, flying around like lightning. In just a moment, the entire Qinbei Mountain was enveloped. Lianji demon sealing array. The two-dimensional golden lotus rose into the sky and turned into a black and white French net, covering the sky and blocking out the sun. Anywhere that is shrouded by this French net, all living beings will be sealed instantly. 4 elephants killing immortal formation. The 4 golden lotuses flew up and turned into red, green, black, and yellow, and 4 sharp swords reaching the sky. The powerful sword energy quickly merged and turned into a 4-color giant sword tens of millions of feet long, slashing down in the air. Boom! There was a loud noise like the beginning of the world. Tianzi Peak, which is tens of thousands of feet high, was cut in half. The upper half of the mountain peak that was supposed to fall burst out with a powerful blue divine light. The vast light, like an erupting volcano, rushed straight into the air. In the blink of an eye, he hit the restricted golden light of the Iwan heaven covering formation and the Lianji demon sealing formation. Mars hits the earth. Endless golden light and vast green light turn the world into 2 colors. One is a spiritual treasure with endless divine power. One is a huge world thousands of miles away. When paired together, it is earth-shattering. In the Qing Emperor's immortal courtyard, 27 monsters wearing gorgeous robes and powerful auras gathered in mid-air. Especially the old man with white beard and hair in the middle has reached the perfection of Xianxian. At this moment, he was holding a large green flag, his face full of solemnity. This formation is so powerful, it can actually block the blows of the immortal realm. Everyone, a powerful enemy is coming. Concentrate all your mana on the 10,000 demons flag. I will obey my ancestors' orders. All the demons mobilized their demon power. The old man took a deep breath, waved the green flag in his palm, and after absorbing the power of the demons, his eyes widened with anger, his beard and hair stood up, and he drank loudly. Open it. An even more vast power of the world, mobilized by this banner, seemed to rise into the sky like a surging river. Su Junming was in mid-air and activated the bronze mirror to clearly see everything in the demon world. Point your finger. 3 talents earth-shattering formation. 7-star locking god formation. 8-door golden lock formation. Seal down, suppress and suppress the heavenly stem formation. One major formation after another is connected with each other, and the power of the ban is enhanced at an exponential level. In mid-air, a giant upside-down golden lotus flower formed. The Tiangong Divine Furnace is Su Jun's natal spiritual treasure of tomorrow's Gongdao. The Tiangong Dao contains the 3 Dao of Dan, Qi, and formation. Normally, he often used the Tiangong Divine Furnace to refine elixirs and weapons, but he had never used its magical power in formations. Now that he took action for the first time, he burst out with tyrannical power. The golden lotus flower, which is almost solid, is tens of thousands of feet long. The vast golden light spread out and enveloped Qinbei mountain for millions of miles. The powerful cyan brilliance rushed into the lotus. They were evenly matched before, but now after several formations combined, they disappeared completely like a mud cow entering the sea. Seeing this scene, the expressions of all the demons in the demon world changed drastically. How can it be? Suddenly, the huge golden lotus petals began to hang down. The old man who mobilized the power of the world through the 10,000 demon flag felt his body sink. The 10,000 demon flag in his hand was actually as heavy as a mountain. Not good. Without caring about anything else, he quickly took out a piece of jade from his arms and crushed it hard. More lotus petals fell from behind, and the powerful sealing power became stronger and stronger. Slowly, the whole world was sealed. Su Junming stretched out his hand. In mid-air, stretching tens of thousands of feet, the golden lotus wrapped in 6 layers of lotus shrank in an instant, came to Su Junming like lightning, and slowly fell into his palm. The entire demon world, along with all the demon clans in Qinbei Mountain, has been tightly sealed by lotus flowers. It's a pity that my current magic power is not enough, otherwise only 1 Tuyi demon sealing array would be able to seal this demon world. He shook his head and threw it away. The golden lotus flew into the divine furnace of Tiangong. After taking back the 4 elephants' golden lotus, Su Junming waved his sleeves, and numerous space barriers blocked the whole body, and the whole person disappeared. At the same time, the Dragon Emperor also came to the capital of the Kingdom of Jin, Shangjing. As the capital of a country where dragons and tigers gather, Shangjing is not as prosperous and huge as Bianliang in the Song dynasty. But it is also a huge city covering an area of 300 miles and gathering hundreds of millions of monsters. The entire city is divided into 9 levels. The outermost 5th level is where ordinary monsters live, as well as Qin Tower, Chu Pavilion, inns, restaurants, and other commercial gathering places. The middle 3 levels are where the dignitaries of the demon clan live. The last level is the Imperial City. Since the Jin Kingdom established its capital in Beijing, the city has experienced nearly 10,000 years of vicissitudes and has never been conquered by other countries. All demon clans believe that Shangjing City is impregnable. The Dragon Emperor was in mid-air, looking at the huge city at his feet. With the help of the phantom of the bronze mirror in the Danshan, one can see a huge unicorn that is 10,000 feet long, lying prone above the imperial city. The ferocious unicorn has a majestic head and its huge eyes are wide open, as if it is wary of something. It is rumored that the Wanyan clan of the Jin Kingdom is of the Mukailan bloodline. Now it seems that it is indeed true. However, this Kailan bloodline is not pure. The Dragon Emperor mastered the 5 elements path, which naturally included the wood path. This Kailan transformed from the dragon energy of the Emperor of the Jin Kingdom also represents the destiny of the Wanyan clan of the Jin Kingdom and contains the essence of their Mukailan bloodline. With the help of the bronze mirror and your own understanding of the 5 elements, you can get a lot of useful information. After a brief inspection, he raised his right hand. Along with the black brilliance, a big black bell appeared in the air. The mysterious aura dispersed, and the golden unicorn instantly noticed the abnormality, and looked over like lightning with its huge eyes. But not before it takes action. Boom! The earth-shattering bell tolls across the universe. The sound that penetrated directly into the soul caused hundreds of millions of demon clansmen in Shangjing City to fall to the ground instantly. Except for the imperial city protected by Kylin, almost no demon can resist the power of a golden immortal using his natal magical power to activate the best immortal weapon. After the soul-lost bell rang, the vast 5-color brilliance seemed to be like 5 rays of divine light sweeping across the sky and the ends of the earth. In an instant, most of the huge Shangjing city disappeared. In the center of the huge pit that spans 3 million miles, there is only an imperial city that is no more than 10 miles long. Roar! The astonishing roar contained endless anger. The vast golden light, with overwhelming power, was like a sky-shattering rainbow, crushing over the sky and covering the earth. Feeling the power in the golden light, the Dragon Emperor's pupils shrank. He activated the void divine mirror behind him, and the light flashed and disappeared instantly. The golden light passed through the sky and flew hundreds of millions of miles before gradually dissipating. The Kylin formed by the hundreds of billions of monsters in the Jin Kingdom is so powerful that the Dragon Emperor would not want to interfere with it unless necessary. Taking one last look at the lonely imperial city of the Kingdom of Jin, the Dragon Emperor's eyes turned cold, and the 5 elements of divine light behind him turned into a sky-shattering rainbow and brushed down in the sky. Boom! Along with the earth-shattering loud noise, light rain fell from the sky. The tyrannical shockwave was like a storm, tearing apart everything around it crazily, and everything within 1,000 miles was ruthlessly crushed. Looking at the golden unicorn that has dimmed a lot, but still has a strong aura, firmly protecting the imperial city in the middle. The Dragon Emperor shook his head. The goal has been achieved, let's let you go for now. The mirror in the void behind him flashed, and the figure disappeared instantly.